Hello, and welcome to Paper Mache People, the podcast that grounds you when you feel lost in the vast world. I'm your host, Mishra, and today we'll be talking about all things Christmassy and year-endy. Before we begin, a quick note. My co-host Eileen and I have actually recorded this episode together, but due to some technical issues, that recording was sadly lost. So today, it'll just be me keeping you company. Grab a warm drink, get comfortable, and settle in for what's coming up next. The first things that come to my mind when I think of Christmas are presents, family gatherings, big meals, and snow. Little did I know that when I first moved overseas, that this was the most lonely period of the year because most of my friends went to visit their families. Well, it's the coziest time for them. Being alone in a foreign country during this period is tough. I was lucky enough to have a handful of friends who were also studying in a foreign country. So we ended up having our own little Christmas gathering together. We exchanged gifts, we made big meals, we even sang some songs together, and it turned out okay. But had I not had these few friends of mine, I don't know what I would have done. Flash forward a few years, I now have the privilege to attend such a family gathering over Christmas. And one thing that I really like about the Christmas tradition in Germany is that they have this moment where the Christkind comes. And in Germany, it's not Santa Claus that brings a gift, but Christkind, who is essentially baby Jesus. And what people do is the whole family gathers in a separate room from where the tree is, and they start singing Christmas songs together. And I find this such a heartwarming time when all of us across different generations gather together and sing songs that we all know. And at some point, the bell rings, and that's when the kids go crazy. Because that's when the Christkind has came by and given the kids their gifts. The candles on the Christmas tree are completely lit, and the kids are tearing open their presents. Meanwhile, the adults are chatting away happily. What surprised me the most is that people of different generations are having full-on conversations about their year and their plans for the next year. In both Eileen and my families, we did not really mingle around with the older generations. Maybe there might be some questions upon meeting about how you're doing, how's your studies, and after like a series of the standard 5 questions, the conversation dies out. And inspired by what I've seen in Europe, I actually tried to engage in a conversation with my aunts and uncles. And surprisingly, we did have a proper conversation. And I learned, for example, that one of my uncles really loved to scuba dive, and he told me about all of these trips that he took around Southeast Asia to dive and all the fish and underwater creatures that he has seen. And I think that was really like a nice moment to share with each other. And what I learned from this is that maybe we have to also be the ones to initiate a conversation rather than waiting for the older generation to come and talk to us. And you'll be surprised at how rich their lives are. Something else that I was surprised by when I first moved to Europe is that over Christmas, there are a few TV programs that would be televised over and over and over again every single year. And one of them is Home Alone and another one is Mr. Bean. And in France, the 2 most common movies that are shown during this time are Le Père Noël est une ordure, which is actually a social commentary on the French society in the 1980s. The other movie that is popular to watch during this time of the year is Les Bronzés, and it's about all the disasters that happen when a French family takes a holiday in a resort in Ivory Coast. For me, this time of the year has evolved into a time to reconnect with family members and wind down from the busy year with long walks in the park and hot chocolate. I also really enjoy taking the time to reflect on the year that is about to end. And I have to say that I'm really thankful for this notebook that I have that has brought me through really tough times. This year has been one of the most intense years that I've experienced. I would use this notebook to write down 1 to 5 key tasks for the day. It's not like a complete to-do list, but like a must-do list for the day. And what happened was when I was feeling restless or anxious, I would take a look at this list and it would remind me of what I should be focusing on rather than doom scrolling. And when I felt like procrastinating, I would also take a look at this list and try to check off the easiest tasks that I could do. And once I am on a roll, it would be easier to actually get the other things done. At the end of every day, I would also write down the things I've accomplished for the day. It could be as simple as the email that I was dreading to send out or the appointment that I made. It made me feel proud of myself for the things that I've done that day. For every month, I drew a little habit tracker for myself with list of activities that I want to do more of and list of activities that I want to reduce. And next to the habit tracker, I wrote down the highlights of each day. And at the end of the month, I look through what I did and I write a little summary of what happened, what I liked, what I did not like. And when I really take the time to reflect back upon the month, I realized that yes, there has been progress, and that kept me going. One thing that I'm really proud of is that I have committed to learning German, and I have taken classes throughout this year and seen tangible improvements in my German. And having moved to the German-speaking part of Switzerland, I've also seen how this has impacted my daily life. Being able to speak to people randomly on the streets or just being able to ask questions here and there and understand the responses of people rather than having to have this awkward moment where I say, oh, so sorry, I don't know what you said. Can you say it in English? It makes me feel like I can belong in this place. And while there's room for improvement, I am proud of the progress that I have made. It also gave me the opportunity to interact with my German-speaking nieces and to read them books in German, to tell little stories. And I wasn't able to do this prior to learning German. Another notable mention is, of course, starting this podcast with Yiling. I remember when we were having a conversation in a cafe when we were back in Kuala Lumpur about sharing our experiences of our lives abroad and how it would be cool to have a perspective that is not as mainstream. And I'm so happy that when I asked Yiling if she actually wants to do it a month after this conversation, she said yes. And since then, we have been working on this project together consistently. I am very grateful to have such a friend. And a sub-effect of this project is that we've gotten so much closer to each other because we're spending so much more time together. It feels like quality time because we have a shared goal and we're also sharing stories about our lives. So we're also getting to know each other better. Furthermore, while doing research for this podcast, I have came to know of a lot of Malaysians who are thriving abroad, doing amazing things. Some people who quit their day jobs to pursue their dreams. Others who are doctors, filmmakers, illustrators, writers, reporters, and so many other people who communicate about what they're doing and how their lives are like. And this has really inspired me to do better. What I've learned from these two experiences is that having a clear project in mind helps me identify steps that I need to take in order to reach my goals. And it's actually helped me to be consistent with the work that I'm doing because I occasionally enjoy drawing and painting, but I would have moments where I would do it quite consistently and then kind of forget about it and maybe pick it up again in 6 months or a year. My realization is that if I had a project where I said, okay, I want to create a series of 12 images, then if I were to work on it once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, I know that at the end of 12 to 24 weeks, I will have a series of coherent paintings, and it would keep me going for that period of time. That's all from me today. I hope you will enjoy this holiday season in a way that feels good to you, whether that's with your friends, family, or enjoying some well-earned quiet time. As the year wraps up, I hope you take a moment to reflect on everything that you've been through and recognize just how much you have achieved. This was our final episode of the year, so I just want to take a moment to thank every single one of you for listening, sharing, and engaging with us. We'd love to hear your highlights from the year and how you celebrate Christmas. Yiling and I have so many more stories in store, and we can't wait to share them with you. So don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast at papermache.people so that you won't miss out on new episodes coming up next year. Until then, take care and bye for now.